Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, and wherever you're listening. Join with me, as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
How you doing?
Mr. Alan Robinson's actually absent again this week. He is, I understand, Canadian Thanksgiving, is it?
Yes, it is. Canada's having their Thanksgiving tomorrow, so his wife dragged him out today.
Fair enough. So for everyone over in Canada, happy Thanksgiving, I suppose. Mr. Joe Whitaker, can you hear us?
You're right, I'm here.
Joe's having internet problems this week, so he's on his phone. He took heed from the other week, and you have to bear with the old volume, but that could be good because he might just end up being nattering away and we can't hear him. And you just never know. And from turning a goblet with a single tool, he's our single tool, Jamie Page.
How you doing? May I add, Alan, since you've wasted my time and not turning up again, you owe me $29.95.
I think I told him he owes all of us $10.
But that's like $10 Canadian. It's hardly worth the effort, is it?
Yeah.
We also have, as I'm sure everyone knows, a guest on this evening, Mr. Alex Bull Halfpenny from Al's Hack Shack. Al, how are you getting on, mate?
Yeah, good man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on. You had us sort of a little bit nervous there for a moment because I understand you're having internet problems as well.
Yeah, I've actually come down to work because my internet's down at home.
Excellent. What you need to do then, if you're at work, send the boss a couple of emails, 9:30 on a Sunday night, brownie points for Monday morning.
Maybe leave out the beers.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. This week's shout-outs and thank yous. A few this week. We've got Paul Jackman, who was obviously our guest last week. Ragtie, our good friend. Jim Dockrell and Crosscut Creations. And of course, big thanks to everyone who hit the like button over on YouTube and shared the video, etc., etc. Don't forget you can visit us over on iTunes, SoundCloud, and pretty much every platform there is for podcast streaming type stuff. Sponsors, we better give them a mention, I suppose, otherwise we'll be getting slapped on the wrist. So today's podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the wood turner's abrasive pastes. If you want more information, visit yorkshiregrit.com. And also our great friend Chad over at Mancrafting. So go and check out his website as well, which is eluding me at the moment. So we'll go to makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors, and obviously you can find out all about our sponsors over there on our websites. Chris, I understand.
Chad's website is mancraftingtm.com.
It is, of course. It just popped out of my head there, but I thought I'd give our website a bit of a plug as well. Chris, I know we're kind of hoarding the random listener questions at the moment, aren't there? But anything good to mention?
No, yeah, because we are hoarding them. And I'm just gonna flat out be honest with you. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. I'm the only American in the room with 4 Brits, and I don't have any tea, guys. All I got is I got a beer. But I do know we have a challenge going on. Maybe Jamie can fill us in on what's going on with the challenge.
Yeah, I can do that. We have a team scroll saw versus team router contest going on. It ends on October 28th. And all the rules and regulations can be found over at makersinternationalpodcast.com. There's a little tab at the top, basically says contests, and it's in there. Basically, what you've got to do is make a project and submit the pictures to challenge@makersinternationalpodcast.com, and you'll be put into the gallery, and it will be judged, and the winners will be announced on the podcast that we go live on the 28th of October.
29th, but that's okay.
29th.
There you go.
Sorry, it ends on the 28th.
Yeah, bingo. We have to have time to look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the more time, the merrier. Well, if that's all that stuff done and dusted, I think we need to get back to Al, because obviously, Al, you're our guest this evening. We want to extract every single piece of information possible from you in the next. Well, Joe's on his phone. He's not really got as long as it takes.
I'm glad you said information there, Richard.
Excellent. So, I mean, Alan's not here. Alan normally kicks us off. It's usually a good place to start. You're relatively new to the YouTube scene, aren't you, in terms of your channel and your videos and whatnot. So obviously I want to know, why you decided to get into YouTube and all the rest of it. But let's go back even further than that. What is your origin story, as Alan would ask? Where did it all start?
I think just from a kid, I've always been making, like always building stuff. I remember being like locked in my room and just making like crazy machines, just like pointless stuff, like sort of Heath Robinson stuff that just wouldn't serve any purpose other than just be a little bit crazy. Always trying to invent stuff, and it's always been something that's fascinated me, like mechanisms and things. As a kid, I always just took stuff apart. So like if I had anything in my room, it would be screwdriver out and the thing would just be apart and in a million pieces by the end of the day. So yeah, it's always been kind of something that's fascinated me.
Did you always just try and then put them back together and find out you got like a few bits and pieces left over? And
oh no, it was just that was it done. It was on to the next thing.
So I can remember as a nipper, I got a little white transistor radio from my grandfather as a Christmas present, and I took it apart one day and then put it back together again, and there were screws left over. I mean, it still works.
It's lighter.
Well, yeah, presumably. So I can definitely relate to that. But where did it go from there? I mean, have you?
Yeah, I mean, I was always kind of into art and design and stuff as a kid, but never really thought there'd be any way of getting a job like as a future in that, like being an artist or anything like that. And the first job I ever got was working in the kitchen, working in a restaurant. So I've always been a chef. Okay. Yeah. Since about 14. I was actually a professional chef for sort of most of my early 20s.
Oh wow!
We have something in common then.
Oh nice. Yeah. I told you, Chris, that cookbook is happening whether you like it or not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Is that where the Hack Shack jalapenos come from?
Oh yeah, man.
Korean recipe, man. I'm telling you, it's good stuff.
I mean, you joke, Jamie, but the jalapenos video seems to go down really well. So I think people do kind of resonate with food and stuff. And I think it's something I could probably do a little bit more of in the Hack Shack as well. I think it's a bit more fun.
Do you, with the you say the jalapeno video did really well and people responded well to it. Yeah. Do you know, or do you think potentially you reached a different audience in terms of people that were interested in the food rather than interested in tearing Apple Macs apart? And
yeah, I think so, because I put some of the stuff on Instagram as well. I'm just kind of learning that as well, and you just see completely different people looking at your stuff and liking it and things, and obviously people just interested in the food part of it, not me dicking around, but they're actually interested in how I made jalapenos. So yeah, I think you're right. I think getting those different audiences is really interesting,
which kind of makes for an interesting video potentially in terms of the idea pot. If you go the food sides, how do you incorporate that into a woodworking or making video or something like that, which then just kind of generates more ideas and more videos and more diversity within the group. So it kind of spirals, I guess, down there.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you see what people like as well. So they see things that do well, and it's like, oh well, I can do something like that in the future as well. But it's because I don't want to just do one thing. I want to try and make everything I make something completely different. So it might be, like you say, electronics one week and then something hobbled together out of old crap bits of OSB the next week, and it could be some food, it could be something. I'm just learning new skills, and that's kind of the whole reason why I'm doing all this.
Well, Al, I got to tell you, anybody that has a pop-up beer dispenser in their workbench has my utmost respect. I'm telling you, that was the most ideal idea I've seen in a while. I was like, you know what, yeah. I need one of those. That's awesome.
Yours would be belt fed though, wouldn't it, Chris?
It would be on a conveyor. Yeah. My beard does not get warm. Let's just put it that way.
It'd be like a Coca-Cola factory.
Yeah, it only holds one beer, Chris, I'm afraid, so it's not good enough for you.
No, my beard is not good. Yeah, it doesn't happen. Sorry.
So what was kind of the purpose of putting yourself out there and jumping on YouTube? Because there's plenty of scope just for people to watch what people are doing and maybe share the photo of the things they've made because they enjoy making it. But to take that leap and bring people along is a slightly different beast to this is what I want to do, or watching what other people do. So where was the kind of the motivation for that?
I mean, initially it was, I wasn't going to do it at all. I just wanted to build a workshop because I was just kind of building stuff in the living room and getting sawdust everywhere. So it's like, I think I better have a place to go and do this properly.
Presumably getting into trouble for it as well.
Getting into a lot of trouble, yeah. But it was that shiny faced boy on the end there that basically got me into the whole YouTube thing. I just watched Joe's channel, and just the way he kind of talked and the way he was just a bloke and just talking how he would normally. I was like, this is so surreal. This is like, it's entertainment, but it's just like one of your mates. And I just thought this is perfect. This is how I am. This is how I act. I don't need to pretend to be something. I can just go and be me and just stick about. And if people want to come along and watch me while I do it, I think that's hilarious.
Conversations really before the channel started, and hopefully this sound is actually coming through okay.
Yeah.
But the birth of the channel, I think it was amazing. That very first video that you put up really set what the channel was going to be. It showed your personality, showed your humour, and also the quality. Because there's a lot of first-time videos that you're proud of people for giving it a go, and you enjoy watching it all the same. But you think, oh, this needs a bit of tweaking, this needs improving. But honestly, that first video, I was like, that's it. He's going to be big. I can't see anything that needs to be improved. So everybody who's listening to this, you're welcome.
Just mic drop, Joe. That's it.
Job done, Joe. You can check out. Nobody loves you more than you.
What was that thing about tooting your own horn?
Give it a good try.
We all.
No, I mean, I completely agree with Joe. One particular point, in so much as it seemed, it kind of made sense to start your channel where you did, as in the actual build of the workshop, because it's like the first episode of the pilot episode of any series on telly, isn't it? It's got to start somewhere. That was a logical place. Whereas I can't really think of any other channel that actually starts their first video is, there.
Actually building it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that was thanks to you guys, because you had that episode about kind of workshop layout and setting up a workshop, and I kind of spoke to Chris about it and just said, it would be great if you guys could have that conversation and that topic, because it was really interesting to me. I had no idea what I was doing in terms of setting up a workshop, what I needed and stuff, and you guys did an awesome episode on it, and that was like literally the week I started building it.
Yeah.
So
and Al, thank you for that, because you are indeed the person who gave us the idea to actually do that show, because we were actually struggling to, what are we going to talk about this week, guys? And then, you hit me up earlier in the week and I went, oh, great idea. I got this guy named Al wants to know about shop layout. What do you say we talk about it? So good. I'm glad it helped, man. I'm good.
Yeah. No, cool. Thanks, man.
For sure. I remember seeing I think it was on Facebook, or it might have been Instagram. It's just a photograph of a massive pile of timber that had been delivered on your drive. And the comment was something like, well, it's all here. Now I suppose I better work out what I'm going to do with it. I know it's going to be a workshop, but yeah.
It's somehow got to go from that pile to, basically what in America they call a house.
And that's pretty much the construction method you used, wasn't it? You properly framed it all out and the walls up. How's it going in there? Is it?
It's really, I really, really like it. It's really good. The only thing is I've not insulated yet, and it's starting to get really cold. So I need to get on that sharpish.
Any plans? What are you going to use for?
Just standard insulation, and then I need to skin the walls with something. But I was hoping to sort of kill two birds with one stone and do some storage at the same time. So whether it's like French cleats or something, just what's going to be best for me along the walls.
Some R30 and then some chipboard would probably do fine.
Yeah, nice. There you go.
Well, I mean that way you should have some. Well, at least that way you have some wood to drive a nail into, as opposed to like drywall, which is
exactly. Yeah.
Personally, if it was me, because I'm cheap, I'd get some 3/4 inch plywood, or if you've got any left over, and put some big, thick, maybe a foot high boards within the studs,
right,
and then just overboard it with some 6mm ply or something like that, something thin, insulate it all out. But obviously you've got a big area there where you can hang stuff off, and it's going to be strong and sturdy.
All right, so there's like a strip of like something sturdy, and then the rest is just thin.
I mean, imagine like your kitchen at home where you've got your wall cupboards hung on the wall. Where you're going to sort of likely to hang stuff like that, just a big strip around, but I'm going to say maybe a foot high.
Yeah.
Screw that into the studs nice and firm, and then just board over the top with all your insulation, and then that from so far down from the ceiling to that point, and the X down further than that, you've got a big hard point to fix in. But that's because I'm cheap.
I'm equally as cheap, Rich.
6mm ply is a lot cheaper than 18mm ply to just do the whole lot.
I mean, stuff like the drill thing in the bench, it was me just having a laugh, but I do need to think about things like that where you kind of clever storage and stuff, and like things hidden away, because I've got such a small shop that I want to be really clever when I do it. So if there's anywhere I can like have storage built in, or clever things that are hidden stuff, I was talking to is it Rod Reyes, the maker, and talking about kind of even like having like storage up in the roof, so you can actually like pull tools down and stuff like that. Obviously, like it's got to be safe, but just a really clever use of space above.
Because you've got a pitch on your roof, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you've got that sort of triangular space up there that you can use for sure.
What's the and Al, I don't mean to tax your brain, but what's the distance between your joists that you have in your ceiling?
Too far.
Well, no, that may actually work to your advantage, because I mean, a lot of guys I know that don't have like a proper roof, like sheathing up against the rafters. They use the rafters to store their lumber.
Yeah. Oh no, I do. So there's 3 like main joists, and it's just perfect for sliding wood. Yes, it's great.
There you go.
So the actual joists, like I did them 4 foot wide. So it's like just a sheet plywood, worked perfectly, but it just started to sag a little bit. So I think I should have doubled up on them if I was going to do it again. But
so they're on about 2 foot centers. So you've got one in the middle of the board.
Oh yeah, which is okay.
Yeah, you could always go back and reinforce that if you have to. I mean,
I've put some horizontal things in to reinforce it, which seems to be doing the job. So
there you go. Cool. That was just an idea.
It's not falling down yet.
No, I wish I had that, because just to give you an FYI, I live in a 2-story house, and my shop is on the bottom floor, so I don't have that. Even if I wanted to take the sheathing down from my ceiling, I still wouldn't have that space. It's just I've got beams going across my face, so that's like I wish I had that space. So good for you.
No, it's really handy. I've got a build coming up, and I've got some scaffold poles that I need for the build, and they're just slotted up there. It's perfect. It's really good for storing stuff like that.
Awesome.
We've got a question from over in the chat room from Asgard Woodturning. He says, "Hey JP, hi Asgard." He says, "Ask Al what he does for a living."
I'm a graphic designer.
There we go.
Interesting. So that sort of stems from your artistic background and scribbling as a kid, does it? Or
yes and no. So like I think I'd always been doing it my entire life. Just like drawing logos and like copying like team badges and stuff. I was always really into it, but when I was a kid there was nothing like that at my school. Like they didn't teach it. It wasn't a class, so I didn't know this was a job. And I went actually after being a chef. I went back to uni and studied again, and I did graphic design. But even at the time, I didn't actually even know what it was. I just turned up to this college course and met the course leader on the first day, and I just had a whole bunch of comic books I'd drawn.
Wait, Al, don't lie. There was a hot chick in that class, wasn't there? There was some hot. Yeah. There was some hot chick in that class. He's like, you know what? I'm following her. I'm
picking this course.
Yeah. What are you taking, love? Oh, really? Me too. And that's how it happened. I understand. But hey,
I was supposed to be doing electronics, and I just ended up following her around. So
That's my boy. Do you know? Are you familiar with Sarah Connor?
She's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew you guys would get along if that's what you do for a living, because she does a lot of the same stuff. So cool.
Yeah, she's really cool. She's just started putting some of her drawings and stuff on YouTube as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really nice.
That's fairly recent, isn't it? That her channel. Yeah.
The channel's been live for a while, but she just recently started putting stuff on there.
Oh, okay. So she's been on YouTube, but not kind of active for.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where do you get your inspiration for your videos, Al? I mean, because they are quite diverse. I mean, we've got the jalapenos, we've got building the workshop, obviously, and the pop-up drinks Arduino voice activated thing.
Yeah.
Which by the way is the best video ever. But okay, I'm a little biased. Go ahead.
I'm inclined to agree with you there, Chris. That is kind of cool. Recently, you've just put your sort of an old car stereo to use with a new stereo system, which I thought I really related to that one for a completely different reason. But the car stereo and all that. I mean, they're quite diverse, aren't they? They're not. If I just watched your channel, I wouldn't put you down as a woodworker.
No, please don't.
But you obviously.
I'm not sure, wait a minute, I'm not sure how to take that. Is that like,
Oh no, I have no idea what I'm doing. So if
okay, because I wasn't sure. I thought that had a little bit of "please don't belittle me" to it.
I'd love to be a woodworker.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, carry on.
So, I mean, where do all these ideas come from? Because they are quite diverse, aren't they? I mean, do you have a need and then just go, all right, I want to do this. I've got this stuff, scrap heap challenge kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or do do these ideas kind of evolve and then you think, right, I need to find an old set of speakers or an old computer line?
You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, the first sort of few videos, obviously, it's me building a shed because I need a shed. Then it's me building a bench because I need a bench. And then I want some tunes in it, so I'll have to build a radio. And it really is like the scrap heap challenge thing. It's just what's lying around. What can I just go and like rip apart or cannibalize? And that's why I used the Mac. It was just sat in a wardrobe. It wasn't like, oh, I need a project to make with this Mac. It was just like, oh yeah, great. That's got a power supply in. I'll go and hack that apart.
Because I certainly I see stuff and I think that could be something cool, and then you end up potentially hoarding stuff for years, and getting told off because it's supposed to be a dining room apparently. But then you do it the other way around, don't you? You just have stuff floating around, and so I guess what I'm trying to ask is what are you doing down that? I mean, where can we expect to see the channel going in terms of?
I think
things
like I've got kind of like a list of things that I want to make, and it's basically stuff that I've always wanted since I was a kid. So you have these dreams as a kid, as like you want a spaceship, you want all these imaginary things that you're never ever going to get, and now I'm just trying to find a way that I can actually make them myself, and there'll be like versions of the thing, or like hilarious kind of comedy versions of it, but ultimately I'll be able to have these things that I've always wanted. So yeah, I've got this kind of list that I guess I've been building since I was like 5. Weirdly, a beer dispensing bench was one of them.
I am going to wait with bated breath to see the rocket ship with the beer dispenser in it.
Come in.
What? I want to see you in your backyard in your rocket ship. I really do.
Because if it's something that it's going to be built on your channel, it's going to be something that's either made out of lemonade bottles or a Reliant Robin or something like that, isn't it?
Well, you joke. Like I used to have an old Suzuki Vitara. It was my first ever car. It's what that stereo came out of, actually, and it was white. And I really, the entire time I wanted it, all I wanted to do was cut it up and turn it into a transformer. So like actually just put this car in my back garden and just like weld it up into this massive kind of living thing. But then it died on me, so I got rid of it.
See, that kind of scares me, not because that's just such a bonkers idea, but actually with 5 videos, I can potentially see that actually happening.
Yeah.
If I lived near you, I'd be looking at house prices of the other side of town, I think.
So my mate's just saying I can borrow his welder, so I'm going to try and learn welding, and then basically the gloves are off. As soon as I can start gluing bits of metal together, that's it.
I think you need to do a collab with Colin Furs.
Do you know, I was just thinking this is going to be like the Yorkshire Colin Furs, isn't it?
You mentioned a minute ago about having things laying around and the cupboards and all that lot. Boxers or briefs?
Both. Both. I stuff.
You stuff. I've never heard of a guy stuffing, but okay. Wow. Al's not compensating here, ladies. He's not, I swear.
Oh my life. Right, okay.
I think the chat's just trying to make more edits for me.
I can't bleep a t-shirt, Joe. Come on.
It says don't be a dick.
Well, Joe, I was going to say that was 5, but now that's 6.
I'm running out of fingers here. And
That's what she said.
I shouldn't have said that.
You just followed it up with, and what? You're still not happy?
I cannot wait to see what Joe does with this edit. This is going to be
5 minutes long.
If this podcast it doesn't start with Joe saying, I think I'm out of fingers here, then something's wrong, Joe. Anyway, go ahead.
And cut.
Richard, bring us back on the
I'm trying desperately. I thought Jamie was going to help me out there, but it obviously didn't happen.
You're looking for Jamie to help. It's never going to happen.
Well,
I'm an instigator.
I was hoping that he might be able to help there, but no, with the aid of the audience. But what if any kind of background do you have in video editing or that kind of thing? Does that go at all with the graphic design? And the reason I asked that is very, very early on, I think literally the first 5 seconds of your first build where you're about to sledgehammer the thing down, all of a sudden you're like, right, stop, hang on, right, okay. Obviously this is wrong and obviously that's wrong. And I thought you'd kind of fallen into the almost the trap of, what are people going to think because I'm not wearing safety glasses and all the rest of it. So you just sort of like cutting them off before they got in. Yeah. But then obviously you just dived in and kind of went for it. So, I mean, where's your video, or do you just kind of make it up like people like me do?
Everything I do, I just make it up as I go along. Like the builds I'm doing and stuff, I'm just literally just like looking around the room and going, yeah, that'll do. I'll use that. So the shed video is like, it's the first video I've ever made, I've ever edited or anything like that. It was just I'm a quick learner.
Yeah, it just seems when now sitting here chatting with you don't strike me as the sort of person that actually gives 2 hoots what somebody thinks if you're not standing right with a sledgehammer or you've got a hard hat on or whatever it is. But it kind of came across as like a big point initially in the video. I mean, obviously, you kind of.
I mean, I know what you mean about the kind of the preempting thing. You see, I'm seeing a lot of people kind of doing that, deliberately saying things to sort of preempt what people are going to say, and it's just like, that's not why we're here. Like, I'm here to just have a laugh, and I'm here to enjoy what I'm doing. If it becomes like a public service announcement and I've got to have disclaimers and stuff, like even the one on the radio, like I deliberately put that in there to kind of, to your point, it was like,
yeah.
I don't really care.
I mean, I think if you look at it from one side of the fence, it's exactly that. It's like, okay. So I won't do it that way. I'll sort of work. But from the other side, it's like it's kind of an in joke.
Yeah.
As much as anything else, which is because I think Chris, you'll hopefully remember this. A few years ago, there was like a blight of big, long, scrolling you know, always read the power tool instructions and for loads of videos. And I think that lasted, what, 6 months? And people got bored of putting it in the videos. And
they watched their views go. So it's like, if they were looking to get views, I mean, starting out a video with disclaimers, which is what was going on about, and that was how many years ago, Rich? That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think probably 3, maybe 4,
maybe 4 years ago. Yeah,
I think a lot of it was from like companies rather than people, because people.
But then it started to filter out into the regular guys doing it too.
Yeah,
they saw the big guys doing it, and they went, "Oh, maybe I should do that too." And so, you know, I don't know. But yeah, it got real boring real fast, and then they stopped it. Thank God.
I think possibly a lot of the big companies stopped actually putting those videos out, and that helped people stop doing it. And then they relied on actual people to do the videos for them. But yeah, no, that's interesting. So,
I mean, what I don't want to do is kind of like belittle people that do actually do it properly. Like, it is important, and like I don't. You know, there's people who probably watch what I do, and they're like professional woodworkers and stuff, and they watch me because it's fun. But like, I don't want to make out what they're doing is not right and not done properly. But I'm definitely not doing it properly.
Sure. I mean, it's almost like the two sides of, or the two types of video to really kind of damn it. You've got those videos out there that are purely instructional, and if you're going to, my personal opinion is, I think Joe touched on this in a video as well, if you are making a purely instructional video, then you've got to make it right.
Yeah.
You know, it from top to bottom, it's got to be correct. Otherwise it's not really that instructional, is it? Yeah. And then you've got the kind of the other kind of come along for the ride sort of thing, which doesn't necessarily, it's just, this is what I'm doing, not what necessarily is the textbook way to do something. And I think that's all part and parcel of sort of being part of a community. Sometimes you inspire people, and that's your kind of gift to the community, and the other side is the instructional, and that's usually serving a different purpose, or a different person at least. And obviously everyone in here, and probably everyone listening, always refers back to that community, and you know, interaction, and what you give and what you get are different things. So
at no point will I ever be making a how-to video.
but then you say that because everybody's got something that they know, and probably there's, you know, everybody knows something about something which is more than someone else knows about that same something.
But then it'll be a how to cook a steak or something, because I actually know how to do that, you know.
But then potentially, you know, that could, you know, feed, and that's still making, isn't it? Like, you know, making a steak. So,
right.
But what I'd dread to think what the hell you'd cook a steak on in your hack shack. That would just, you know.
No, that wouldn't be hard at all. Jamie, I think Make It Self had a question. Do you want to get that in?
Favorite project you have ever done, like ever?
Ooh. I built like a fire pit at my parents' house, like a stone seat with a wall behind it, and like a fire pit and stuff. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the usage that they get out of it, and it's just a nice thing that like family and friends and stuff can sit around. So at a rare occasion, it actually served the purpose.
That would be cool. I tell you what, Gerald, the Redsmith, has a question. He says, with all the time and money in the world, with all the time and money in the world, what would be your dream thing to build or make or do?
Build an X-Wing.
An X-Wing Star Wars fighter?
Yeah.
In your backyard?
In my backyard.
There's the rocket ship. So there we go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's a rocket ship.
I can see that happening.
I'd love to see that happen.
I love the Redsmith.
Who does? Is that an act? Did he send you that? Is that what your bragging rights are?
Yeah. Okay.
That is so good. I saw you wearing that in one of your. Yeah.
For those that are just listening to this, Jamie's holding up a metal worker's cuff that was done by the Redsmith, that's emblazoned with Redsmith's logo, which is just totally friggin' awesome. And why he gave it to you, I have no clue.
Because he loves me.
Yeah, because
like, you even showed me that, Jamie.
Right. I mean, do you put that on when you work at the scroll saw to feel more manly? I mean, I'm just curious.
No, I'll put it on in the bedroom.
Okay. All right, I'm not going to go there, Joe.
Jim Dockrell has put, how do you properly do Yorkshire puddings?
Right. So you've got to you've got to really beat the eggs in the flour so it's really, really tough and hard. It's like chewing gum. So you got to really, really, really get it like a dough to get the gluten working. And then you slowly add your milk and just bring it up. And it's got to be quite thin batter. So you're not kind of going like pancake batter where it's thick. It's got to be almost just pretty much milk. Really hot pan, loads of oil. Yorkshire puddings. Hot oven.
And don't open the oven, I understand. Otherwise they drop again, don't they?
Yeah. But like red hot oven. If your kitchen's not smoking by the end of it, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, curiosity kills the cook every friggin' time. Trust me on that one. let's just open the oven and have a peek. No,
it's got a glass window for a reason.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so from favourite, what would be your favourite tool that you work with?
I mean, I built that shed with like a handsaw and a hammer, and I don't really have that many tools. I've got like an orbital sander and stuff, but weirdly the tool I just keep going back to and I keep using over and over again is a circular saw. It just seems to be like my go-to tool for everything. Like even like cutting down metal. It's just I just find it really useful. Obviously, I've not got table saw, but I'm assuming this kind of a really nice go-between.
Does the job. I mean, I think a circular saw is basically the bit of a table saw that does the work without the table on it, isn't it? And
you can just kind of wield it around and just cut things on stupid angle. It's like it is perfect tool for me. Yeah, exactly.
So was that one of the first tools you bought then, or was that because you got bored of using a handsaw? I think
it's like most people. I'd buy a tool as I needed it. So I'd be doing something as like I think I built the radiator covers in the last house, and it was just like I need this tool for that. I need a planer for what the finish you get on an electric planer is awful, but I'm just so like lazy and impatient that it was just a great tool to get, and I use that quite a lot as well.
I'm not a big fan of electric planers. They're a little bit too aggressive for me. Yeah. And,
it takes nothing off or like half an inch. There's no subtleties.
No, then I always end up tapering things as well, which sometimes you need. But if you want to take an actual straight parallel part off, then you have to be quite confident and lucky as well.
I actually I picked up an old vintage hand plane when I went down to Yandles, when I went down to that wood fair. And Matt Cremona was there, and I went up to him with this hand plane, and I just kind of shoved it in his face, and I was like, "Matt, what am I supposed to do with this?" He's sort of like, "What are you talking about?" But basically, I'm gonna like refurb that and sharpen up the blade and stuff, and then hopefully start learning how to use hand tools and things. Because with every job, if I can learn a new skill, that's kind of the whole point of why I'm doing it.
I can see Cremona now, standing behind a table, and some bloke walks up to him, hands him a hand plane, goes, "Matt, what am I supposed to do with this?" And just like,
literally like that.
"You idiot! Why are you bothering me?" But I'm going to try to be polite. I mean, Matt's a great guy. Anyway, Alex, I got a question for you, and it's kind of an off the cuff, kind of just because I'm curious. Because you just started on YouTube, and I'm wondering, what are you looking to do? I mean, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it because you just have, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I started my YouTube channel as kind of a lark, just kind of like, I'll just throw it out there and, I really don't care. But there are people that actually have plans and designs of what they're looking to do. I mean, do you have any kind of plan in place, or are you just looking to have a laugh? Or I mean, what's up with, why are you doing what you're doing?
A little from column A, a little from column B. Like I initially kind of just thought it would be a laugh. And I thought like my mates would watch it and maybe Joe would watch it out of sympathy. And then it kind of turned out that actually people quite like watching me dick around. So kind of as it's going on, the plan is slightly changing a little bit. I think if there's potential to kind of to do more of this and take it more seriously, then as long as I'm still having fun, like that's all that matters. Like all
right, next question. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, massively.
I think it's the same road most of us traveled, because I mean, and I'm very attuned to where you're at, what you're doing, because I started, like I said, mine on a lark, And then I started meeting all these people in the world that I never knew friggin' existed before I started I had no clue. I mean, I didn't watch Joe Whitaker. When I started my channel, I wasn't even watching The Wood Whisperer, and he's been around for eons. I just started it because I thought it'd be fun. All of a sudden, I found these people. I'm like, wow, world opened up my eyes in a heartbeat.
Big time.
Who's The Wood Whisperer?
Yeah, wow. Hey, what can I tell you? Nobody's going to have a hard time understanding that I was ignorant. But my second question was, because where do you live? You live in Leeds, correct?
Yeah, in the north.
In your immediate area, do you have people in your community, in your local area that do things like this, or are you kind of like the lone wolf?
I think there's a couple of guys that have just started up on Instagram, and I've just been talking to them, and we're kind of formulating some sort of Northern Alliance. But in terms of the YouTube, I don't really think there's anyone.
I'm talking about makers. I mean, do you have people that?
Well, I've just started going down to there's a makerspace in Leeds. It's called Leeds Hackspace, and I'm assuming there's similar things in all the cities, and it's just guys and girls just making, like, in a room, having fun, like. Like these places are magnificent. Like if anyone's watching and wants a space to go and meet people and find out new skills, like I went down the other week and a guy just taught me how to machine lathe. Never touched a lathe in my life, and this guy within like an hour, he doesn't know me, he doesn't owe me anything, he wasn't getting paid, and like now I know how to machine metal on a lathe from a stranger. Wow. And just like. We talk about community a lot on YouTube, and it's fantastic. And like you see from my second video, that it took me by surprise how amazing this community really is. And I think it's important that we remember there's a bigger world as well. There's like the real world, the real community, and actual people that you might live next door to. He might be like a master craftsman furniture maker, and you just don't know. And I want to get back to that kind of that mentality of actual community and people sharing skills and sharing stories and stuff.
It's a big eye opener actually when you think, on this internet thing, there's a big community and there's loads of people and they're all from various places. But when you actually step out your front door and go into the real world and bump into these people in actual real life and find out there's real people out there doing just what you said, making things and having an interest, and they're not even online. So there's that, and I think a lot of us get tunnel vision in terms of the internet and forget about the real world and the bigger, wider world. Having said that, I think, isn't there like a central repository of maker spaces, like almost like a directory on the internet somewhere of then you can find if you're living like down in Exeter, find out where they are in that area and whatnot.
Yeah, there is. I think probably it would be good to put something like that in the notes, because it's a super really helpful resource. And it's things like tools as well. If you haven't got a bandsaw or a table saw like I haven't, it's a great place. You can just go down, rip something down, and it's like, all right, I'll save up and I'll get something eventually. But for now, this is great. I did some of the soldering down there because I didn't have a soldering station. I do now, but you just go down. These tools are free to use,
and that makes actual real friends then.
Yeah, brilliant. And I'm meeting people now, and they've all got different skills and they've all got different backgrounds and stuff. And I think, watching YouTube is such an amazing resource for learning. And I've learned so many different things from watching people, build homemade forges and stuff. And Shogun Jimmy just built a little backyard forge for the zombie challenge thing. But actually just going and meeting people and spending an hour with them, you learn like 10 times as much. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And you learn all the nuances and stuff. Like I could watch Jamie scroll saw something, but it's not really going to teach me how to do it. Whereas if I sat next to him, you'd learn so much more.
Because the internet is inherently not a tactile place.
No. And for makers, like we're making stuff. Like the whole point is it's all about getting hands on.
Yeah.
I also want to add that he picked watching me scroll saw rather than watching you route.
That's because when I do my routing videos, there's
Well,
so much
Jamie,
more information. Blah 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 blah.
I hate to point this. I hate to point this out to you, Jamie, but he also mentioned that he watched your video and didn't learn a damn thing.
It's all right. I won't go out to teach anyone.
You had a good sleep, though.
Yeah, I had a good sleep.
Excellent. So
I'm sorry.
So that's us, you know, sort of basically slating the internet and saying it's not a tactile place or as good as real life. But who do you actually watch on YouTube there, Al? Anyone that you want to give a shout out to or point us in the direction of?
Yeah, I think you mentioned her a couple of times, but Make It So has just started putting some of her builds up on YouTube. She's got a really good Instagram feed where she shows all the models and things that she makes. But she's just started putting some up on YouTube, and they're just so much fun. Like, there you go, Make It So.
Joe's bragging now, showing his Make It So sticker.
And you know what? While we have her attention, if she's still out in the chat, Soph, we need to talk because we need to have you on. We want to talk to you. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, she's like really funny girl. She's really skillful. She makes models, and she just makes things out of nothing as well. So like a lot of it's upcycled, a lot of it's from scrap, and it'll just turn from just a big pile of scrap into like a really beautiful object at the end of it with like a really nice story as well. So yeah, check it out if you've not seen her stuff.
It's kind of getting into the winding down of the show. 20:10. Joe's going to start getting stroppy sooner or later. I never want to end. I never want to end these. These guest episodes, and this one in particular. But are you at liberty to divulge what you might be working on at the moment or in the near future? Because I'm genuinely interested.
I've got ADD like the rest of us, but I've got like 5 builds on it at the moment, all like in parallel. But the 2 main ones, Chris, you've just been apple picking, so you'll feel me on this one. I'm making a cider press.
Awesome!
So all the apples in my garden have all been picked, and I'm ready to make some cider out of it. Real cider, hard cider.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the other one, the other build that I'm on with is the zombie apocalypse weapon challenge thing for the Dirty Smith.
Cool. I've got vision because I'm picturing an actual cider press, and but with you it's going to be like an engine block with the pistons doing the work or something crazy like that, isn't it? I can see it.
There might be a bicycle involved.
Well, I certainly can't wait to be inside her.
I'll bathe in it. Go.
Oh my life! Yeah. What about everyone else? What is everyone else working on at the moment? We'll come back to you in a second, Al, because I have got a couple of things I want to cover. But while we're on what people are watching, Joe, are you watching anything at the moment apart from your internet?
I haven't had a chance to actually watch anything this week. I've been doing a lot of editing, and with the internet down as well, it's just been a nightmare. So there's my excuse.
Yeah. And of course, you've been on telly as well, not just watching it. You've actually been on telly, haven't you? So do you want to just very quickly, just because I want to drop you in it, there must be somebody that's not seen you. Your adventures.
In the UK, I was on BBC One. I was on a quiz show, The Boss. So hopefully now I can rearrange our contract that we've got set up, and hopefully I can just pay me £10 a week now.
Well, we'll have our people get in touch with your people, and we'll talk about this later. Okay.
Chris, anything interesting going on at your neck of the woods?
Yeah. Are you curious about who I'm watching or what I'm doing?
Oh, well, a little bit of both.
All right. I'm watching. I liked, and I love this guy. I don't know how you can't like Mike Fulton. Mike is just such a great dude. I mean, if you've ever been on a hangout and just actually spoken to Mike face to face, you'll know what I'm talking about, because Mike's just a great dude. He put out a video earlier this week about some stools he made, some shop stools that were stackable shop stools in his shop. And I just haven't spoken to Mike in so long that I just I want to give that guy some love. How you doing, Mike? Tell Andrea and all the kids I said, hey. And if knowing Mike, what he'll do is just say, hey, Chris said to shut up. But if you have a chance, check out Mike Fulton. He just put up a video not too long ago about how to do some simple stackable shop stools. So that's who I've been watching. As to what I've been up to, I'm kind of leery to mention what I've been up to because what is today? Today's
Sunday.
We record this on Sunday, and it's October 8th. If I tell you guys what I'm actually up to, are people going to throw like rotten tomatoes and vegetables at me and stuff, or can I actually tell you what I'm doing? Because I'm not going to mention it in the video.
Probably not there, because I mean, yeah, I know. The reason I ask is because I know you're busy with a lot of stuff, but I think probably not.
Well,
this might be Halloween, dude.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because we haven't even had Halloween yet. We haven't even done Thanksgiving here in the States yet. But every year, and probably you guys can all relate, every year when it gets towards Christmas, we all get slammed with things to make for family, friends, things of that nature. So there's hardly any time to do anything for people that you really want to do them for. So I am going to start doing a video series. I want to make a bunch of kids' toys. And I'm starting now. That are going to be donated to either a hospital wing for kids that are in the hospital on Christmas Eve, or to possibly a charity for underprivileged children. I'm not sure yet, but so my videos, I'm going to be doing a series of children's toys videos, and I hope, knock on wood, to get 12 toys done at least, so that Santa can deliver them to the kids in time for Christmas. But I have to start now, because I know if I don't start now, I'm going to get slammed at Christmas time with family and all that kind of good fun stuff. So I didn't really want to bring that up in a video, because it's kind of too early for a lot of people to start thinking about Christmas. But that, if anybody's curious about what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, that's the reason. And I won't share that anywhere else except here. So
no, that's fair enough. Jamie, I will kind of get to you eventually, maybe. Because I'm sure somebody might be interested in what you're working on. But actually, Chris, before we get to Jamie, that kind of brings me on neatly to something I was going to ask Al, because because you're not a full-time maker, are you, Al? You have like an actual real job that you have to go to, and a boss. And
yeah, I'm there now.
I mean, that's dedication. That is 10:30 on a Sunday night. How do you? I mean, Chris has talked about like the rush before Christmas and everything's got to be. How do you fit in, like, your work, your job, presumably family life, and making as well? Because that's a fairly, I mean, just the making on its own is a fairly time, labour intensive thing. Yeah. How do you fit all that stuff in?
I don't sleep.
That was a much simpler answer. I was expecting a slightly longer, more in-depth answer.
Yeah, no, I just try to make the most of the time. I mean, my job is quite demanding in terms of hours. Like, it's not a steady 9 to 5. It's like it could be a 9 to 11 or 9 to 1 in the morning. It's never fixed, so I don't actually know what's going to happen on a daily basis. So I'm getting very good at kind of making the most of what time I have. Getting up early in the morning, like at the weekend and stuff. It's like I don't sleep in. It's just get up, get it done, because it's exciting. I want to do it. If there's something being made and I'm creating something, like that's the drive. And so yeah.
Awesome.
I always remember there was a particular corporal when I was in the army, and one of his famous sayings was, "If you're not working, you're skiving." And if you caught anybody like just sleeping or not doing anything, that was it. You were skiving, and I can kind of relate to that. I mean, obviously we need to sleep, but
I think that comes from being a chef, because like the whole sort of catering industry, it's a lot like
constantly on the go.
It really is like the army. Even sort of the terminology they use and the regimes and stuff. It's
exactly.
Yeah, yep. It's like time to lean, time to clean. It's like if you're not doing something, you shouldn't be here. So I've always had that kind of work mentality, even since a kid, of just keep doing something, keep doing something. So I'm never not doing something.
So, I mean, what do you do to relax then, if anything, or is that the making side of it? Is that your sort of when other people might sit and watch EastEnders or TV or whatever? Or
I don't watch TV anymore. Like the more I kind of got involved with this community and what's happening on YouTube, I like literally 2 weeks ago I cancelled my TV.
Oh wow!
Because it's just rubbish. We're just sat watching nonsense, like people on game shows and stuff. And, and you could be learning something.
Got kicked out in the first round on purpose, so you didn't have to waste too much time.
I'm very grateful for that, Joe. So I only had to watch 10 minutes. Yeah, you could be learning something or making something, or interacting with people. So I'd much rather be doing that than like what you say, relaxing. Yeah, I don't know how to relax.
Constantly on the move. I mean, how does your sort of family? How do they deal with that?
They just think I'm a nutter. Yeah,
No, fair enough.
They just think I'm some sort of like robot or something. But
the great segue. And speaking of nutters, Jamie, maybe it's time to find out what you've been up to, what you're doing.
Well, what have I been up to? First, I've done a Heath Knuckles blank. Eventually, there's a video on that.
That's all.
And then
that's actually
after I put that up on my new website, which I've now got thanks to Steve Nealon at Harnell Media. He reminded me that I put out 2 videos, or a video every single day of the year. Or no, let me put that another way. I've put that.
For anyone listening, we've heard this before.
I put 2 videos out on 2015 and 2016 out on exactly the same day. And he questioned me. He said, "What is it with you and this day? Blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well, I better get out another video out to make it 3 years in a row." I had it out on exactly the same day, so I turned this using only one tool. So I put two videos out. Yeah, a mini goblet. Yeah. So I strapped a camera to my turning chisel and done a tool cam.
I saw that. That was cool. That was awesome. That's like that's like after dinner drink size, right? Where you like put the Grand Marnier,
like a shot glass. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Grand Marnier or whatever you happen to be into.
So what am I working on now? I've got the Queen kind of strapped up at the time being.
Oh God, we are going to get so flagged by MI.
And I'm actually working on the podcast Halloween project now. So which is going to take a good 24 hours at least. There's just as much detail in there as there was Tiger. So you're in for a ride, Richard.
I'm not worried at all. I'm just whatever. I very nearly got a doctor's note for not being able to get out of doing this skull sawing thing. I went and had my eyes tested this weekend, and
oh yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I don't need glasses, and apparently you're registered blind in one eye. So I thought if I get that in there, that'll take that thunder from you. So yeah, I don't need glasses, but if I'm doing really, really close up work, so like scrolling, and because genuinely, seriously, I was scrolling whatever it was I did before. I try and forget these things as quick as possible, but the blade was blurred. I couldn't focus on the blade and the cut line, and it would just I had to stop, and I was having none of it. So it did quite concern me. With that one, but no,
Richard, nobody cares. There's a challenge out there.
try to get out of it. Yeah. Whatever.
There's a challenge going on. makersinternationalpodcast.com. Go to look for that. You'll find out what the deal is. Anyway, okay.
Yep.
That's going to be something that I'm going to have to work on, presumably. But
damn it! I almost shut him up. No. All right, go ahead.
I can't. If you're listening and you can think of a way that I can get out of this, then
how about you?
Email me.
Joe's pointing to his watch. How about you just wrap it up, dude?
Excellent. But Al, where can everyone find you on the socials and on the YouTubes and all the rest of it? Where can?
Yeah, it's Al Tack Shack on YouTube, and it's the same on Instagram, Al Tack Shack. And I've got a website coming, but there's nothing in it yet.
Okay, but that will be presumably the same.
altacktrack.com. Yeah, I've got the domain already. There's just nothing there yet.
Excellent. Well, Joe is getting very, very nervous and just stroppy, really, because he's got to edit. So, Joe, where can everyone find you on the socials?
Average Joe's Joinery on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and Average Joe's Photography on Instagram.
Sorry, say that again, mate. It'll be a little bit quiet.
That'll do.
Chris.
You can find anything that has to relate to me on our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com. There you go.
Wicked. Jamie?
I'll tell you, but quickly, I just need to plug a couple of competitions that's going on. Firstly, I want to quickly plug Mike and Mike's Woodshop. He's got a 2,000 subscriber giveaway going on.
Awesome.
And our sponsor, Chad Mancraft, and he's got a 12K giveaway going on at the moment, which ends October 27th. He's got 10 prizes. Unfortunately, it's for US only, so don't go hating on him.
Well, that it's never going to make it to Joe's while the glue dries. I'm sorry. That's all there is to it.
And Sterling Davis has asked us to plug a meetup that's happening.
Klingspor.
At Klingspor Woodworking Shop. It's a woodworking extravaganza at the Hickory Metro Convention Centre, October 27th and 28th. The likes of Sterling Davis, Laney Shaughnessy, Dave Gatton, Jerry Blakesley, and possibly Chris Cute will be there, and more. Okay, but with regards to my social medias, you can find them all at jp-woodwork.com or makersinternationalpodcast.com.
Excellent.
Not to be confused with, go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead.
makercentral.co.uk.
Thank you. It just wouldn't be an episode unless you did that. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, we'll make sure Alan's socials are all out there as well and in the show notes, etc., even though he couldn't be bothered his backside to turn up. But make sure you go and subscribe to anyone, any and all of us, should I say. Click the little bell icon, particularly with Al's channel, because if you're not subscribed to Al, then go and look through his back catalogue, have a little giggle, and just imagine what's going to come out of that place in the coming weeks and months, because I think it's going to be
awesome.
The first Robin Reliant in space. Excellent. So I've been Rick Morley. You can find me at brainfeast.uk and under my name on YouTube. Thanks for all for coming along, and hopefully you are still listening. But until then, we'll see you next week. You take care.
Have a great week, everybody.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later, guys.